Inakuwaje watu wangu wa nguvu, mimi naitwa presenter Ali, napita nao since day one ndani ya masala yote burudani in the entertainment scene. Nasalia kwa the entertainment PA, and by the way the A is always for amazing. Siku zote natia bidii kuhakikisha kwamba nakuletea wewe stories ambazo ni za burudani, muda mwingine nakuletea stories ambazo ndani yake unaweza kujifunza mawili au matatu. Sometimes pia nakuletea human interest stories, lakini siku ya leo nipo na mgeni atakuwa anajitambulisha and then she's gonna share her story. Hi.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me, Ali.
Yeah, so what's your name?
My names are Dolly Quintter Mungai, but everyone calls me Dolly for short because my name has 13 letters, which is a little bit long, so everyone calls me Dolly.
What's your real name? Dolly what?
Dolly Quintter, so it's DOLLYQUINTTER.
Okay, and mtu yote akikusikiza, actually they can know that you have an accent. Inatoka wapi accent?
I am originally from Kenya, but I was raised in the UK. Yeah.
So that's where you got the accent from. Okay, so you're here to share your story. It's your time.
So basically, I was born in Kenya and I moved to the United Kingdom when I was 18 months. And I'd say I've had a very fulfilled childhood. I've been very lucky in many ways. Obviously, to be able to partly live in two different countries. So I came back to also study in Kenya. I've been really lucky. I've always from a young child had a passion for fashion. I guess having a passion for fashion has come across because I'm the only child. I don't have any brothers or sisters. Yeah, my parents made a masterpiece. Yeah, yeah. I'm the only child, so I guess I started having a love for fashion from a young age. So where most children would go to the toy section when their parents would go shopping, I would go to the magazine section and look at magazines and look at clothes. So that's where my love for fashion began. School life was a little bit difficult for me because I have a condition called dyslexia. Dyslexia is not a disease, for those that don't know. It's a condition. It affects coordination of the brain, and also it can affect how one reads. Someone can identify numbers. So I'd say at the beginning of me going to school was a little bit difficult because I wasn't diagnosed with dyslexia. It only came about when I got to 12, I was diagnosed with dyslexia. So as a child in school, I was very disruptive. I was definitely the class clown. I didn't come to lessons on time. I was really naughty in school. And so my mum realized that there was a problem in my behavior, so she took me to an education psychologist to just obviously try and see if there's something wrong with my behavior, if I have HD or whatever it was that was wrong. And we discovered that I had dyslexia, which made my life a lot easier because I was relieved that obviously I knew why I behaved the way I behaved. So I got the help and support that I needed, and I was able to really flourish in school and do really well. So moving forward, I came back to Kenya to.
What was that?
Do you know what, Ali? I can't. If I tell you, I beg to differ. I can't really remember the exact year, but I was here for 3 years. I think it was around 2014, 2013. I was here. I went to a school. I won't say the school, just in case I say something that's a bit negative, and then they come for me. So I won't say. So I won't say the school. So I came to Kenya to study for 3 years, which was a major culture shock for me. It was such a big culture shock because in England, schools, you're a lot more expressive. So if you even don't agree with what a teacher says, you can say, I don't agree. You know, if you don't agree with something, you can question your teachers. Where I found in Kenya, you have to really listen to what your teacher says, and whatever the teacher says that's it. There's no disagreeing with a teacher. So you're kind of put in a box. I found it really hard to settle in, and waking up because I went to a boarding school. That was difficult.
Which school is that?
Told you I can't tell you.
Okay.
You tried to catch me out. Yeah, so I found waking up really difficult. It was an IGCSE school, just in case. Yeah, I carried on with it with the English system. It was just difficult for me to like adjust to being in Kenya. I wasn't really used to the culture, the food. It was just really difficult. But I adjusted. I adapted, and I was here for 3 years. But I always went back home for like holidays and stuff. But while I was here, I knew that I would not further my higher education. I knew that I was not gonna go to university. I knew that was out of the question. So I worked in a store called Harrods. If those that don't know what Harrods is like there's only one store in the whole world that's like it. So they sell things like YSL, Gucci, Louis Vuitton. So when big brands have big drops, that's the store where they send their big drops. So that's where they send their big drops. So I worked there, and I realized I could do more. And then I started doing personal shopping. That's how I started my business. I started doing personal shopping. For those that don't know what personal shopping is when it's how I would explain it. It's like having a personal chef and also having a PA sort of thing. So basically, I cater to your needs. That makes any sense? Yeah, so it's all in one. I don't cook for you, but I help you with your closet. So I'll tell you how to like coordinate colors. I'll tell you what's the right things to fit your body shape. So I started my personal shopping business, and then when I started my personal shopping business, I started at the beginning to shop for football players. So that's what I did. I shop for football players. My first clients were Crystal Palace, if anyone knows the Crystal Palace football players. Those were my first clients. And then I realized that I need to narrow down my niche. And when I narrowed down my niche, I went to the 1%. Yeah, if those that know what the 1% is, I'm sure you all know. But yeah, so I went down to the 1%, which was really, really going back again, having dyslexia and not being so academic. I found a passion that I was like, that I loved. And I think it's really important for people to know that even if you're not academic, you can still like do other things. There's so many you can be an artist, some artists who like for example like Banksy, they get paid millions of pounds for just drawing. So you don't have to really specifically be a doctor or a nurse if that's not really what you're incapable of doing. Do you know what I mean? We all can't be academic. So I started Stylist Dolly, which has been going on since I was 20, and I'm 32 now. So it's been going on. I'm 32 now. So it's been going on for a long time. Yeah, it's been going on for some time now. Yeah, I really enjoy what I do. But my main thing is obviously because I've been exposed so much with like my condition. I want to come back home and like educate people about the condition dyslexia and let them know that even if you are dyslexic, it's not the end of the world. You can do certain things. You can you can maneuver, because there is somebody out there somewhere who's struggling academically. Maybe they're not getting the grades that they want to get, or maybe they're not like accomplishing the things that they want to accomplish. So I just want to bring out an awareness so parents can stop being so harsh on their kids to do well academically. So if you're we have kid YouTubers that make millions, is because of their personality. So I just want to kind of bring that out, that you don't have to be academic to do well in life.
So what are some of the things that a parent can look at, maybe and tell that maybe my child can be dyslexic?
Dyslexic. It's not a very easy word to say. It took me some time. What a parent can identify is from 3 to 4. Are they having difficulties doing nursery rhymes? the most simplest things. Are they having difficulties putting on their shoes? Do they put their shoes on? I know obviously kids at the beginning they do put their shoes on wrong, left and right. That yeah, but how long is it lasting for? Are they still struggling doing it? Are they finding it difficult to do up their buttons? You know, are they finding difficult to coordinate things, to put like the square in the box or the box in the square, things like things that people, because obviously dyslexia affects coordination. So so that's what parents should look at, but they shouldn't discourage their children and like pin them in the box and call them stupid. That's the worst thing you can do, because later on that individual is going to like be very like reserved and have self-doubt, and then that's when all sorts of other things come in, like self-harm. People start taking drugs, you know what I mean? You feel suicide. People start to feel inadequate, and we don't want that, you know what I mean? We don't want people to feel like they're not worthy, because we're all worthy no matter like what you can, because there's things that I can do that you can't do, vice versa. Do you know what I mean?
Would you say that maybe that condition affected like your social life?
No, not at all. Not at all. I am a social butterfly, but also I'm an introvert at the same time. I can be one of those people I don't really like. Because I'm the only child. I do love being by myself. I love my own space, but also in social settings, I am very okay with like meeting people, talking to people. I'm very okay with it. I don't think it affected me because I was diagnosed quite late but quite early. So then I knew what was wrong with me. Do you get what I mean? So I didn't like carry on my whole life, where there's probably an adult out there who's in their 40s or 50s. You know, they don't even know. So they always like avoid looking at the time or texting because they can't do it. You know what I mean? And probably their loved ones, they think maybe that person's ignorant, or you know, they're rude, they don't respond to messages. But it's not that they fact that they're rude, it's just that they can't do it.
So what are like some of the normal things that someone can just do, but with dyslexia they can't do?
Normal things is basically like I drive, and I find it difficult to identify left and right. So on my windscreen of my car, I have a red sticker and a green sticker. So I know when my sat nav says left, I know what like sticker to look at. So you just find like coping mechanisms to basically you help you get by.
So like right now you don't know what's your left side.
Yeah, I know obviously now I got a watch on. That's easy. Today it's easy, but usually not. Yeah.
And then maybe what should you tell someone who's been diagnosed with dyslexia?
What I would want to tell someone that's been diagnosed with dyslexia, some of the greatest minds that ever lived on our planet have had dyslexia. Albert Einstein, who came up with the conclusion that time is an illusion, which is one of my favorite sayings. Yeah. Richard Branson, Muhammad Ali, one of the most recognizable athletes in the world. Will Smith, you know, there's so many. The list goes on. Tom Cruise, you know, there's George Washington, who run a whole country. Churchill was dyslexic, you know. Who was the Prime Minister of the UK at some point. But I'm just saying, there's so many people who are dyslexic. Steve Jobs, I'm sure there's so many of us here that use iPhones, you know.
So that means I could be like dyslexic and I don't know.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, a lot of people. Out of 10 people, 4 people are dyslexic. Out of 10 people, 4 are dyslexic, and some know and some don't know. And dyslexia is different. So some people, it affects them where they can't read and write at all, and some people it affects them where they can read but they struggle with certain things.
What's probably the worst that can happen to someone who's dyslexic and they don't even know?
I think the worst that can happen, you can't die from it, but it is hereditary. So if you have it, maybe your kids are bound to have it, or your kids are bound to have it. So it'll be something that if it's not helped or not nipped in the bud, if you don't have like coping mechanism, it could be a hereditary curse, if you know what I mean. I wouldn't say curse, but it could be something that like your whole family could have, and then like no one's figured out how to maneuver with it. So it could hinder people's growth.
Okay, going back to probably the fashion industry, what do you think? What's your take on the Kenyan fashion industry? What do you think about it? Like looking at how people dress, do you think people have an idea of what fashion is, or people just out there just dressing?
I think one thing I'd love to say, yeah, obviously I'm Kenyan. Kenyans are amazing human beings. They're very gifted, but in fashion, there's a lot of fakes. That's one thing I have to say. There's a lot of fakes, and yeah, the China man must be doing well.
Thriving here in
So
Kenya.
yeah, he must be importing a lot of fakes. That's the only thing that I find, and I find that in Kenya, maybe now people are more expressive with fashion, but everyone seems quite timid. So everyone seems like they wear the same thing. So if you wear something different, you stand out a little bit. Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, and would you say, being in the fashion industry can change someone's life, can make you, earn a living from it?
Yeah, I like I said, I've been. That's how I make my living. You know, that's how I make money. I've been able to travel to over 53 countries with my job. We're doing fashion. 53 countries.
Like the whole of Africa.
Yeah. So I've been able to do that with my job. I've been able to sustain a healthy living with it, and not obviously accomplish all my desires because I'm still working on it, but accomplish a lot of my desires from fashion. Fashion is one of the most biggest industries in the world. Fashion and beauty, one of the biggest industries.
Amazing. Tumekuwa tukipiga story naye, na kama hauko unajua mambo kuhusu dyslexia, right? Hilo jina linanitatiza kidogo, lakini kama huko unajua, I hope kwamba umejifunza mawili au matatu, na mgeni wetu siku ya leo ana accent ambayo ni ya Kishua, kwa sababu mimi mwenyewe nachanganyikiwa. Natumai pia kwamba wewe hapo ulipo nyumbani unaelewa ambacho anasema. Niteka captions on, I'm gonna turn on the captions, kwa hivyo kama usikii pengine itakusaidia. Anyways, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Ali, for having me. I really appreciate it. And yeah, your swag is on point.
Nawambiaga. Anyway, I mean, maybe your last sentiment.
I think people should accept other people for who they are, and we should not try and copy and paste people. We should accept people for being different, having different skin tones, having different conditions, and not put everybody in the same box.
Amazing. Asante sana kwa muda wako. Umetazama interview yenyewe kuanzia mwanzo mpaka mwishoni. Bana, mimi nakupenda sana. Big shout out kwa mwanangu Nguvu, yupo behind the camera, anaitwa Eric Mukabwa. Mimi naitwa presenter Ali, your entertainment PA. The A is always for amazing. Na siku zote ukitaka kufanikiwa, usipende kusifiwa.